News in from the city. Sterling has already gone up more than 2.5 pfennigs on the markets, and experts are expecting an imminent interest rate cut already. And also the FTSE 100, it's said, could go up 150 points. Let's go to Gerry Foley now in Downing Street. Good morning, Gerry.
Good morning to you, Michael.
Well, what are your impressions and what's the schedule that faces that famous street today?
Well, I think it's going to be a fairly busy day here. The Prime Minister arrived back at about 6:05 or so this morning. He'd spent about an hour over at Conservative headquarters joining in the celebrations. And about 10 minutes ago, Mrs Major and the two children headed off, presumably to Huntington. The Prime Minister himself, we're led to believe, is grabbing a few hours sleep. He's likely to re-emerge again, probably around midday, perhaps to meet some selected members of the public, we're told. And then it'll be getting down to some government business. And of course, one of the top issues he has to sort out pretty soon, and it's probably tomorrow before we find out what he's decided on that front, is the shape and formation of the new cabinet. And we're told it will be Monday before we hear the full list of all the junior ministers.
Gerry, you've been following the campaign closely with all the other commentators. Is there widespread surprise against the people who, after all, followed it under a microscope, really, with a microscope?
Yes, I think there is, because while some people felt that there was a shift back towards the Conservatives over the weekend and in the final days leading up to yesterday, nobody was able to predict, or certainly the polls didn't pick up the scale of the recovery which the Tories managed to come up with, because to poll 43% of the vote is really a remarkable turnaround. And of course it's a Labour support down to 35, 36. No opinion poll throughout the 4 weeks, indeed no opinion poll for the last 18 months has shown Labour support slipping back that much. So I think people were surprised, and the Prime Minister, of course, maintained throughout the campaign that he personally was very confident that they would be returned with a working majority. Not many people believed him, but he was the one who was proved right.
And is it true that the removal vans have voted Labour?
Well, the removal vans would have been in here pretty snappish, and we're told that if John Major had lost, he would be moving out sometime this afternoon, but that's not necessary, and no doubt the civil service in its own way is saying we don't have to make any more changes. We're getting used to having virtually one-party rule.
Gerry Foley, thanks for joining us from Downing Street.
Thank you.
A word with Sir Bernard Ingham and